In 2014, during a routine facility cleanup at NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory, an engineer stumbled upon something that wasn't on any inventory list. It was a small unmarked USB drive, sealed inside a damaged evidence bag, the kind used for internal investigations. The label on the outside said only one thing: delete after review. What was inside was never meant to be seen by the public. This is the story of the data NASA tried to erase, and the found footage that proves they were working on something far beyond our imagination. The discovery was an accident. The USB was lodged behind a decommissioned server rack, covered in dust. It had clearly been there for years. What made it so strange was its complete lack of official record. There was no case number, no project name, no chain of custody. It was a ghost in the system. The evidence bag itself was weathered, the seal partially broken, as if it had been tampered with or poorly stored. The only clue to its origin was a faded blueprint tucked behind it, stamped with a bold red label: property of JPL, do not release. The engineer, knowing this was highly unusual, decided to ignore the warning on the bag. Instead of deleting it, they took it home. What they found would change our understanding of what NASA was capable of. Plugging in the drive was a challenge. Most of the file system was corrupted, a digital graveyard of unreadable data. But amidst the digital decay, a few things were salvageable. There were fragmented telemetry logs with signatures that didn't match any known spacecraft. There were low-resolution images, stripped of all metadata, showing unrecognizable metallic components against a dark background. And then, there was one folder that remained almost entirely intact. It was named Protocoms_V2. This folder contained the key to the entire mystery. Inside were design documents, simulation results, and component lists for a project that officially never existed. The USB contained fragments of something NASA never publicly acknowledged, a prototype for an intersatellite communication devices system far, far ahead of what existed at the time. This wasn't just an upgrade to existing tech, it was a quantum leap. As the engineer pieced together the data, a picture of the prototype began to emerge. The schematics showed an incomplete metallic framework, roughly the size of a shoebox. It was designed to be lightweight and modular. The component lists referenced microchips with serial numbers that were completely untraceable, not registered with any commercial manufacturer. They were custom-made, likely in-house. One critical schematic labeled CS9 Experimental Relay Node detailed its function. This wasn't just a communication device for talking to Earth. It was a self-contained intelligent relay station. Its purpose was to allow small autonomous space probes or even specialized drones to create their own independent communication network in deep space, passing data between each other without a direct line of sight to mission control. It wasn't just a device. It was a relay node, a way for small probes to communicate independently without Earth. This would allow for swarms of probes to explore planets, moons, or asteroid fields with a level of autonomy previously seen only in science fiction. So if this technology was so groundbreaking, why did NASA bury it? Why was this drive marked for destruction? The fragmented data pointed to three possible reasons. First, the security risk. The technology was so advanced that if its existence became public, it would reveal strategic capabilities that NASA and the US government wanted to keep secret. It was a piece of technology with clear dual-use potential. Second, internal politics and budget conflicts. The drive contained traces of what looked like project proposals. It seems the CS9 node was competing for funding against other, larger, more conventional flagship missions. Sometimes, in large organizations, a brilliant idea gets suffocated by bureaucracy, not because it's bad, but because it threatens the status quo of other powerful projects. And third, the most chilling possibility, a security leak. One of the few recoverable text files was a corrupted email fragment. Most of it was gibberish, but one line was crystal clear: "This cannot leave the lab. Shut it down." Someone knew the project was compromised, and the order was given to erase it from existence. But the most disturbing piece of evidence was hidden deep within a subfolder named Per Test Video. There was a single, short video file. It was less than 20 seconds long, grainy, and shot in what appeared to be a dark, shielded labroom. The only light source was the device itself. In the center of the frame, the small prototype sat on a workbench, a single blue light blinking in a strange, irregular pattern. It wasn't a steady pulse. It was more like a code. Then, a voice is heard from off-camera, a hushed, anxious whisper. "Is it transmitting already?" Before anyone answers, the video cuts abruptly to static. That's it. 20 seconds of footage that proved the prototype wasn't just a design on a computer. It was built, it was activated, and it was transmitting something. To someone, or something, unknown. So, what does this all mean? If this device worked, it means NASA had the capability for autonomous probe-to-probe networking years, maybe even a decade, before anyone else on Earth. It would have enabled missions that are still considered theoretical today. It would have revolutionized our ability to explore the solar system, which raises the biggest question of all. Why erase it? Why scrub a project this valuable from the history books and try to destroy every last trace of its existence? What were they so afraid of? Was it just internal politics? Or did that blinking light and that whispered question hint at a much darker secret? The answer might be tied to what the device was communicating with.